Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. So I was thinking about this shotgun thing after going duck hunting, and it popped in my head again about round selection with the shotgun specifically, but also there's a video that I saw from Warthog Defense that shows AK-74s that have been pulled out of mothball and handed to conscripts in Russia. And it shows these guys are pretty much not in the know. You can tell that the 2A isn't a thing in Russia, even though they're trained a little bit with them, but they were bad-mouthing the rifle, the Kalashnikov, the AK-74s that were there. And there's two things that stuck out about this for me. Number one was that they were showing some rust around the muzzle brake, and that usually comes from 7 and 6, the Russian ball ammo. Now, it can be dealt with if it's dealt with early enough. It won't corrode the barrel completely. So round selection matters. If you're in the Western society, and you're using 5.45 from like Wolf or some of the other stuff that is manufactured in Russia but not for the Russian military, and it's not using Russian propellants, military propellants that are corrosive, or corrosive primers, then you're good. But this round selection idea goes for everything in the 2A. If you're carrying your firearm, your concealed carry firearm, your self-defense arm, your round is very important to what you carry. You can do a lot with like a 380 nowadays with the right ammunition, specifically like Lehigh Defense, that type of ammunition, and get the performance that you would out of a 9mm with less recoil and a smaller footprint. Now, if you go to the 9mm, you're getting performance with speed that you wouldn't ever get with a 45, but you're also getting expansion. And then when you go to the shotgun, think about how important the round selection is. If you have too fine of a shot, it's not going to go that far. It's going to disperse too fast, and its energy is going to be gone. So what is it used for? Smaller birds. Okay? Then you graduate up to something like double-aught buck. What can it be used for? Well, back east, they actually do hunt deer with it. Here, I wouldn't recommend it. I still think that a slug would be better. But see, there you go. You can use a slug in a shotgun, and nowadays you can get 200 yards easily. And where my brother was telling me they hunted in Indiana, 200 yards was a stretch. You were lucky to get that far. So there's some round selection you need to check out. Your practice ammunition. So I have a friend who owns Go Rogue Industries, and they make a projectile I've talked about, and I was live at the San Juan County Gun Show highlighting their projectile. But it's a 124 grain lead cast projectile with a polymer coating that makes it safe for modern pistols. So if you hand load, you have a training round that is about the price of normal ball ammunition, but you get the performance, meaning the recoil, and everything else that you would get from your carry or duty ammunition. And if you think about round selection for like a 5.56, what you would use to defend your home should be dramatically different than what you train with. Case in point, if you're using like a short-barreled rifle or a AR pistol, you'd want something like a 70 grain OTM round. These are the ones that are supposed to be heavier for the caliber. The grain is. So they're like 70-ish or 69-ish grains, if not 79 or something like that. The idea is that you're not going to get the speed at shorter ranges. You're going to need the kinetics that come with a heavier projectile. Now that lends credence to accuracy for most long-range shooters. But that goes back to round selection. When you hunt, are you looking at the type of animal you're hunting? Okay? If you're hunting an elk, that ammunition and that round of that caliber selection is going to be dramatically different than what you're going to hunt with for like a goose or a squirrel. It doesn't make sense to hunt a squirrel with an elk rifle, a 300 Winchester mag, for instance. You're not going to get very much left of the squirrel. Plus, it would be really expensive and really messy. So round selection matters in everything. Now, as for the stuff I was talking about on Warthog Defense about the Kalashnikovs, why do I think they were being hyperbolic and bitchy? To be blunt, one of their big complaints was that the safety on one of the rifles was flapping around. Now, this takes about 5 seconds to fix if you're in the know, because what it means is that the safety selector is bent, and all you have to do is bend it back towards the receiver, and it will start engaging correctly. Now, that doesn't work if it is actually broken at the stem and it's just spinning around in its little hole. Then there's not much you can do for it. But as plentiful as I'm sure those Kalashnikovs are, I am sure they will be able to find the parts to make it serviceable. A Kalashnikov muzzle device will rattle unless you tighten it really, really tight. A safety is going to, on the Kalashnikov, the safety and the selector switch are the same thing. They're going to leave a mark on your receiver. I love what Rob Ski from AKOU said a long time ago. And so did Sonny Pazikas. He said, the AR-15 is the prom queen. The AK-47 is the biker bitch. She just gets stuff done. Like, share, subscribe, be great.